We are playing a very dangerous game with Bitcoin. Is it time for a correction? Hello everyone, my name is Mathieu. In today's video, we'll be going over some extremely important news for Bitcoin and the crypto industry, as well as some short-term possibilities for the price of Bitcoin. Let's jump right into it. In the short term, Bitcoin is still hovering around this same 90K range. This morning, we went up to 92K, only to come back down to 89K. And right now, as I'm recording this video, we are back above the $92,000 mark. Now you can see here that there was a ton of liquidity to be grabbed around the 91K level, where $62 million worth of shorts got liquidated. And currently we do have about $100 million worth of shorts at around the 93K mark. I wouldn't be surprised if those shorts get liquidated once again and Bitcoin reclaims $93,000. On top of this, the total crypto market cap officially hit a new all-time high at around $3.05 trillion. You can see that the former peak here was right below the $3 trillion mark. And so it's amazing to see that we have finally broken that all-time high. What is the top for this cycle? My prediction is somewhere between $7 to $10 trillion around the 2025 peak. That would look something like all the way up here, which would of course be explosive for not just Bitcoin, but our altcoins as well. On top of this, speaking of altcoins, we can see that Bitcoin dominance did have a slight correction down to about the 60% level. We were actually all the way down to 58.6% at one point, and now we kind of climbed back up. And of course, I've shared this in previous videos. It is still my opinion that so long as we stay within this wedge, it is bullish for Bitcoin dominance and less bullish for our altcoins against their Bitcoin pairs. In the short term, I know I mentioned that we would likely hit this liquidity around the 93K mark, but it also wouldn't surprise me if we did see some form of sharper pullback. Why, you might ask? Well, good news and bad news is that retail is indeed here. Coinbase is now the #1 finance app in the US and number 13 on the entire App Store. Historically, when Coinbase is #1, it does mark at least a local top. So we do need to be careful about this, especially if you're currently longing Bitcoin on leverage at these levels. It is a dangerous game to play. On top of this, we also got some data telling us that retail investors are still flocking in. Transaction volume under 100K hit a 3-year high. How do we know this is retail? Well, typically retail is speculating with a lot less money than, say, the institutions and the big Bitcoin whales. So when retail comes in, you can see that transaction volume under $100,000 typically spikes. And this is the highest it's been in 3 years, meaning, once again, to be a little bit cautious. Also, we have the fact that the fear and greed index is still in extreme greed for a week now. So we can see here that around November 11th, we officially made it into the extreme greed zone. And we are currently November 18th, and it's still in extreme greed. This is, again, a little bit of a caution sign, especially if you're longing Bitcoin, as I mentioned. For me, I am currently taking a gamble by shorting Bitcoin with a little bit of leverage on Bybit because I am expecting a small pullback. Of course, this doesn't affect my spot holdings, but if you want to join me on Bybit and trade, you can do so by clicking the link in my description. It is the first link. On Bybit, you're also able to receive a $500 airdrop on your trading positions. This bonus is currently only available if you use my link. So make sure you sign up. Okay, so the market is getting a little bit overheated right now. We are in extreme greed, and Coinbase being #1 on the App Store in the US is also a sign. Retail also started accumulating more and more crypto, as we can see by the trading volume under $100,000, making a 3-year high. However, long-term, things are looking as good as ever. So when I tell you that I'm quickly shorting the market, it's just a quick trade to earn some profits so I can go and accumulate some more crypto. Long-term, it's looking extremely bullish. So much so that our friend Michael Saylor over here with his company MicroStrategy purchased another 52,000 Bitcoins for around $4.6 billion, bringing its total holdings to 331,000 Bitcoins. The company's Bitcoin stash is now valued at nearly $30 billion. I know we all believe in Bitcoin in the long term, and otherwise we wouldn't be watching this video and we wouldn't be in this space. But man, he just keeps on accumulating at higher and higher prices. He was accumulating during the bear market bottom below 20K, and now he's increasing his stash at a price point of around $88,500 for these Bitcoins. That is crazy. And we also have global companies following MicroStrategy's Bitcoin strategy, such as Metaplanet. Metaplanet already made it public earlier this year that they were going to adopt the same kind of strategy that MicroStrategy were with purchasing Bitcoin. And now they continue to do so by issuing 1.75 billion Japanese yen in bonds to buy more Bitcoin. I think Michael Saylor has started a trend. In the medium to long term, if this doesn't make you bullish enough, well, just know that after hearing that the United States will likely adopt a Bitcoin strategic reserve, the Polish presidential candidate is following Trump's lead and vows to create a strategic Bitcoin reserve if he wins the election. Country after country after country after country will follow suit, and I think many of the global powerhouses at this point should adopt a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Perhaps they're already starting and it hasn't even been announced yet, but you never know. Something extremely interesting that I need to share with you as well, and this was actually posted in April of 2022. BlackRock essentially suggested that your investment portfolio should compose of 85% Bitcoin. 85%. I don't know if you guys remember, but around that time frame, I could have sworn that some of the best analysts were saying maybe 1% of your portfolio or maybe 10% of your portfolio. But 85% coming from BlackRock, this research got swept under the rug because I do not remember this. And of course, this kind of stuff comes out when the price of Bitcoin is already hovering over $90,000. Typical BlackRock. Again, the name of the game has been and will always be to accumulate more Bitcoin. So any money that I make on my altcoins and trading on Bybit this bull market will be converted directly into Bitcoin. I want to hold as much Bitcoin as humanly possible because in my opinion, in a matter of decades, we could see a $1 million per Bitcoin. And I am not exaggerating. Just look at the rate of adoption. This will only increase from here on out. And you know why that is? Senator Loomis says that the Treasury should convert gold for its Bitcoin reserve. We're not just talking about buying Bitcoin from the market. We're talking about converting their gold, which is seen as the most scarce asset in the world, for Bitcoin now. It is very clear that there is a shift in thinking in the US government. And if this actually gets passed, it will be tremendous for Bitcoin. It's very much the new generation gold rush. So all in all, we can still see a short-term pullback in Bitcoin because of the fact that it's very clear retail is here and Coinbase is #1 finance app in the US. So you do need to be a little bit cautious here with longing Bitcoin. However, in the medium to long term, things are looking as bullish as ever. And I think 2025 is gearing up to be one of the most explosive years for Bitcoin and crypto altogether. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell. Till next time.